Hi, I'm Professor Joni Hannigan. I'm coming to you tonight from Houston, Texas. And I know that most of you are probably in Southern California, and the rest of you are scattered all throughout the United States, um, and maybe even beyond. Welcome to Journalism 170 at California Baptist University. We are going to have an exciting term. We're going to get started almost immediately with reviewing AP style news writing. We're going to look at some of the theory and some of the practice. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know just a little bit about me and what drives me and what my passion is and why I would want to teach you, and especially why I may want to do that online, even as far as I may be from most of you, and why I want to stay connected with you and want to be available and to help you in any way that I can to become the writer that you want to be. Actually, my journey started out right there in Southern California. While I was in high school, actually I started in Arizona, but ended up my senior year in high school at Arcadia High School. And through yearbook and photography, I really began to put my desire to tell a story together. That's where I began to really figure out that this wasn't just something I could do during camp or in the privacy of my home or on my back porch, but that in the classroom and amongst other people, I could begin to use those skills that God had gifted me with through writing and taking visual images to begin to learn and develop in how to tell a story. And I also learned about myself that I wanted to be kind of where the center of the action was. Now at Arcadia High, that could have been at the edge of the football field. And it was quite often that's where I was found with my camera. But quickly in life, I learned that sometimes putting down my camera and being able to use my pen was could have torn me at times. I could have been torn at times with wanting to write and create a visual picture of what I was seeing. And so I was torn often with wanting to create in words what I was actually seeing. So I was torn between either picking up the camera or writing and creating a word picture for people and what I was hearing. So what I was seeing and what I was hearing were beginning to form into words. And at certain times that actually becomes something that I do both of. I take pictures or videos and I tell a story in words. And that's kind of when the best of everything comes together and I can actually do some layout as well. But back to the storytelling. So that's when I began to really feel that desire. That continued on into my life. I joined the Navy right after high school and met a wonderful man and was married somewhere in that process, had 2 children, left the Navy, went to college, discovered that I really enjoyed teaching, did all sorts of things, traveled to a couple of different countries, and throughout my life have just been really passionate about no matter where I was and what I was doing, I wanted to tell stories, news stories, feature stories, long stories, short stories, but always came back to wanting to connect the dots and let people in on what I was seeing and sometimes what I was feeling. Now that what I was feeling was more connected to, is always more connected to first person writing. something that's very different than being able to tell a story objectively, something that we'll do mostly in this term. We'll learn to write journalistically, we'll learn to write third person objectively and be able to tell somebody else's story, to tell what it is that we can see, we can observe, and we can be objective about. And we can tell somebody else's story. There's nothing so beautiful as being able to sit down and read a story and feel like you've been there with the person that the story is about and not get hindered by the person who's telling the story, but to be truly caught up in the story that you're hearing, not in the person who's telling the story. Often remind reporters to get out of the way. Get out of the picture and let the story come through. It's kind of related to if you were to be watching a movie and all of a sudden you see the cameraman, that you would be abruptly caught up because you wouldn't be expecting to see the cameraman. Well, if you're a reporter, you're not expected to be in that story. And so hopefully we'll learn some things about that as we go through. But I've had a rich and wonderful life. I have 2 children, and both of my children are happily married. My son has 4 children, so I have 4 grandchildren. And then my daughter is married, and I have 2 more children, grandchildren, that she is expecting on the way. She's actually going to have twins, a boy and a girl. So we're looking forward to that. They're due in February. So that's a bit about me, a bit about that travel. That was very interesting. I've traveled all over. Lots of various countries. To find out more about me, and this is a little bit of an assignment for you, I want you to Google my name. Go to the syllabus, look up my name, Google my name. You'll find some stories. You'll find my LinkedIn, and you'll find my Twitter, and see what you can find out about me. And then ask me any questions you have. Go to our discussion thread and ask away and see what you can find out about me, and I'll be looking at your introductions and finding out more about you. And I think I'm going to end this video now and put this video in our discussion thread, and then I'll talk more about the actual first week's lessons in another video. So it was good talking to you, good getting to know you a little bit, letting you know a little bit about me and why I want to teach you. And if I hadn't really explained that really well, it's one thing to be able to fully tell stories about other people, and it's also very exciting to me to be able to help you reach your full potential in being able to tell stories as well. That's very exciting to me. Okay, so we'll see you again in just a little bit in talking about week 1. Good night.